Good evening, everyone. My name is Sasha Riggins, and I am here today with a friend. Her name is Talibah Shakir, and she's going to tell us all about her life as a Panther. All right, good afternoon, Talibah. How are you?
I am fine. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. So I just wanted to talk to you about a few things, maybe get your input, and we can go ahead and start with this interview. Okay. So, what did the party stand for that made you feel like it was worth the risk?
The Black Panther Party stood for that we were the vehicle to end oppression everywhere. And it was not like the news, the propaganda would have you think we were anti-white. It was never that. We even had a sister organization called Peace and Freedom, with nothing but white people in there. And we were not racist at all. Our whole philosophy was that nobody has the right to oppress somebody else. So it didn't matter if you was Chinese, Indian, Mexican, white. Well, you being oppressed, we were there to fight oppressors. We were not fighting white people.
So you were truly a freedom fighter. Okay. So what inspired you to join and when did you join?
I joined a few months before my 16th birthday, and what inspired me to join was the family I came from. My parents were from Mississippi. My grandmother told us about the racist tactics that had happened in the South and how our family came to California. She was walking down the street in Mississippi, and a white man was walking on the sidewalk with his mule, and the mule stepped on my grandmother's foot. So she socked the mule to get him out, and the man pulled out his gun and shot her in her stomach. She had 18 holes in her intestine. And somebody put my grandmother in a car. They took her somewhere in the woods. They hid her. A herbalist, or what they would have called a root doctor back then, healed her. And when she got well enough, she left and went to California. That's how my family arrived in California. And they had wanted posters out on my grandmother.
Oh
So
wow.
that's how we arrived in California. And she told me, she said, it's one freedom fighter in every generation, and you're going to be that for your generation. So when my mother, I think a few months before my 16th birthday, mom, look, children, do not do this. Don't try this. Anything I'm telling you, don't do it. My mother, she worked for the telephone company. She was one of the first black supervisors for the telephone company, and she worked swing shift from 3 to 11 o'clock. So when she would leave at 11, I'd be out that house. I mean, at 3 in the afternoon. I hit them streets about 6 o'clock. Me and my two crime partners, Rosalie and Hattie. We just called our friends comrades. Our Panther friends were comrades. Our regular friends were just our crime partner. So we went down to this place. I used to like to shoot pool, and we went down to this place called the All Nation Pool Hall close to my house. And I was walking on one side of the street, and his brother came out and he said, "Hey, sister, you know who you are?" I said, "Yeah, but I'm not telling you because my mama told me don't talk to strangers." He said, "Well, you look like you're intoxicated." And I'm like, "Well, I had been drinking something they call Pagan Pink Ripple way back in the day. Like Fred Sanford all talked about that Ripple. We was drinking it. So, so I was like, "Well, I ain't talking to you." And then he said, "Well, why don't you come on in here and find out about your history, your culture?" And I started telling him, I said, "My family, we know who we are and where we came from and the struggle to come south." So I'm running it down to him, and he looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he was fine too. Really, that's why I'm looking at him. But anyway, I'm like, "No, no, no, I ain't talking to you." He said, "Well, come on." I said, "I don't know, y'all. I'm going." So I went back across the street to the All Nation Pool Hall, and I was up there dancing. And that night I couldn't dance. I couldn't take a step. What he said just kept resounding in my mind. And I told my friends, I said, "I'm going back across the street to see what that brother's talking about." And they thought, "Oh, he talking that old black stuff that your mom and your grandmother be talking about all the time." I said, "Yeah, but it means something to me. It means something to me." So I went over there, and they was having what they call a political education class. And he asked me, did I want to join? I'm like, "What is?" He said, "Well, you have to read this newspaper, the Black Panther newspaper. He said, you have to read this and break it down." I'm like, "Okay." He said, "Do you think you can do it? Because you seem somewhat intoxicated." So I just rolled my eyes, took a seat. And when it was my turn to read the paper, I read it, broke it down, stood up, and like, and walked on up out of the place. But he stayed on my mind. And I was attending Fremont High School, which was literally about 7 blocks from the Panther office and out of the way for me to go home. So after that, every day after school, I was going past the Black Panther Party office on 84th and Broadway in Los Angeles. And I mean, that wasn't even my route home. So then it got so I started going every other day, every 2 days, every 3 days. and missing some school to go there, because to me the Black Panther Party was everything. It was what my grandmother had talked to us about. It was what the elders in our family told us they had went through. And they wasn't free because they was in California. They were not free. It was chosen neighborhoods. Everything was red line. So that's what inspired me to get involved in it, because it was like a continuation of what my family had told me. But I wanted to do more than sit and listen. I wanted to make changes.
Okay, okay. So, well, when you joined it, what kind of things were you doing in the party?
Well, I ain't telling you everything.
No, I know you can't.
Yeah, but we
But just
did.
like your
Okay.
everyday kind of things.
Okay, well, first of all, when I first joined, you had to go through like a 6-week probation. You had to learn a 10-point program and a platform, basically what we wanted, what we believed. You had to go out and do community work, make sure you were really working for the people. They had to test you to see if you were ready to die for the people. I had to learn how to shoot guns, clean guns. I went out to Lancaster, which was an area, it was a desert. We had to be out there 3 days without no water, any preparations, and survive. And I did, and we went to Panther meetings and we studied our history and we did the political education classes. So we had to do all of that to prepare. And then they asked me about the how did I feel, and to recite the different program, which most I done forgot. But yeah, that was it. That's how I joined. And like when I was sitting in my classroom at Fremont High School, the Black Panther Party was always on my mind. It's like I need to be there, not here.
Okay, okay. So I know we have talked before, and you said that you did know Fred Hampton, because I was going to ask you about the movie, but you said you haven't had a chance to see it. But could you give us a little bit of information as far as what you know about Fred Hampton and the relationship you had with him?
Fred Hampton was from our Chicago office, and like he had called to the office on 41st and Central, 84th and Broadway, and I was able to talk with him on the phone because I was like a section leader and a secretary of the Black Panther Party. So I was able to talk with him a few times on the phone. But when Chairman Fred got killed, it was like the police vamped on us. And when we said vamp, we mean attack. My first husband, Paul Red, he was in this Panther office on 41st and Central, which there's also a movie out about that. And the police vamped on them and attacked them with all types of machinery and stuff that was used in military, not every day, not your local LAPD bullets and stuff like that, just a whole lot like war, just for real war. So they attacked the LA office. They attacked one of our black houses on 55th and Broadway, and where Chairman Fred was at, because it was Fred Hampton and his friend Mark Clark was killed. So it was just like they just hit us all within that same period of time.
Mm. Okay, okay. So let me ask you something else. What were some of the benefits for you as far as being part of the party that you got a chance to experience and enjoy?
Well, some of the many benefits was after a while, after we were well known and people were behind us 1,000%, movie stars started coming into the area. Everybody wanted to see us. Everybody wanted to say, I have a Black Panther friend. And we were invited to so many Hollywood house parties. We had speeches and whatever, we was out in the street, we was protecting the people, and people had mad respect for us. Even when like when I was younger, you had something called a bill at the local mom and pop store, which was mostly ran by Asians. So if your mother, your parents' county check or their work check didn't last to the end of the month, you'd go to the mom and pop store and get something on the bill. And a lot of the food they were selling us was inferior. Or if your parents had money and they would send you with a list to get stuff, the Asians would keep your money and tell your parents you didn't spend the money. So a whole lot of us got unnecessary whoopings and what have you. And the way they they talked to you and treated you so bad, just so demeaning and disrespectful, although they was having inferior products and charging us double for having it on the bill. So that's I forgot, what was the question, girl? I'm sorry, y'all.
Just some of the benefits that you got a chance to
Oh, okay,
enjoy.
okay. So then some of the benefits we had was always serving the people, because the Black Panther Party was the one that originated the free breakfast program that's enjoyed by the school district throughout the whole United States. But of course, we're not getting credit for it. Of course, it's not even mentioned that we did that. And we had something called a Free People's Barbecue. And getting back to the mom and pop stores, we would ask them for donations or whatever to feed somebody or whatever. Or if we found out they mistreated somebody or wasn't given the right change back, we'd ask them to make it right. They wouldn't make it right. Later on that evening, when the store closed, somehow or the other, the store was open up magically, and somehow or other, the whole neighborhood was invited to go in there and get whatever they wanted and whatever they needed, you know? And after that, we just closed the door and let them know you cannot be in our community and disrespecting our people, you know, because the next time we're putting you out of here. And we meant that, you know, we meant that. And then we started having the Free People's Barbecue, and that was a great event. I mean, we had stores, same stores that our parents and grandparents and neighbors went to all the time, but they didn't do anything for the community. So we went and demanded that they gave us food to feed our people, because the little county checks and what it really wasn't enough. And the money people were making on the jobs, it just was not enough to eat properly or anything like that. So we had what we call black houses in the, which was just community houses in the neighborhood where all Panthers were living there, 15, 16 of us at a time. So that you would be outside and you dig a big old hole in the yard to make a barbecue pit, because the trucks were coming with all this food. So an 18-wheeler would pull up with food, and we barbecued and we made potato salad, stuff like that. And the people came, they ate good, and they took groceries home. So that was our Free People's Food program. And we gave them groceries and stuff like that. And people started seeing us and respecting us, and they knew we wasn't playing. You know, we
Yeah.
never stole nothing from anybody. We didn't force anybody to do anything, but we made our demands, and our demands were just, and our demands were right. And it got to the point where, how could you tell them no? You know what I mean? Because if we tell them no and they're right, we might get put out of business. So, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, that's okay. Okay. So, was there anything as far as the Black Panther Party that you didn't necessarily agree with?
There was nothing I didn't agree with, but I do think we should have instituted a plan for us, for the members, you know what I mean? Because we were revolutionary freedom fighters, you know, and they should have instituted something when we get older, something for Black Panthers that are older, housing, buying houses or property, or something for Panthers. Because when we did this, we was in their body and soul. You know, we were a young group of people. A lot of people had settled for the crumbs the ruling class had left. We wanted the whole cake, and we wanted equally divided, you know. So when people treated us in a certain manner, we had to, you know, act in a certain way to get things done, you know, to really get things done. And but we did for everybody, but we did nothing for ourselves. Absolutely nothing for ourselves, you know. And some of the brothers that had children, they were away from their families. I mean, it was a lot of different Black organizations, and I ran into their children later, and their children didn't want to study. Their children didn't want to know anything about the Black Panther Party, because it was like, you out there, you know, ready to die for everybody but us. We
Yeah.
sacrificed our family, you know. So, and I just felt that we should have put something aside for us. Each little
Yeah.
Panther should have put something aside for their family, you know, because when this is over, if I die or get killed, what's left for my family? Absolutely
It's true.
nothing. So that was the only issue I had with the party.
Okay. So do you have any like long-term effects from being in the party as far as your any physical disabilities or anything like that? What are the long-term effects that you deal with today from being in the party? The residual.
I do have post-traumatic stress disorder. And a lot of people that it's the same as somebody that was in war, because war was declared on us. J. Edgar Hoover was the director of the Black Panther Party, and he said we was the greatest threat inside the United States. So therefore, we was a target for the FBI, CIA, NSA. We was targets for all government officials, you know. So that was that has a lot of effects on me today,
Because they
because
did compare them to the Klan. I do know that they were
yeah,
saying that they were worse than the Klan, essentially.
yeah, because we were nothing like the Klan. I don't even know how they put them two together, you know. But J. Edgar Hoover said we was the greatest internal threat to the United States. And a lot of things bother me when Black men are being killed in the street, and it becomes justifiable homicide, or the police don't do a minute in jail, or, you know, there's no repercussion for what happened to them. When organizations such as Black Lives Matter have to go to the streets and keep telling people our lives matter too. When you have
Yeah.
a racist president like Trump, and you living in the South, like I'm in Georgia, I don't have any idea what's going to happen to me. I'm on guard. It's just like the hairs are standing up on my back, And so all of that, it just had a lot of effects on me. It's just like it brings me back into that where I have to be on guard, where I'm not feeling safe in America. You know what I mean? I have to talk with my comrades and whatever because I'm not feeling safe. And it just feels like anything could happen and I have to be prepared. It puts me back into that revolutionary mode.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. If you could go back and do things differently, would you?
No.
Okay, okay.
Not at all. I don't regret a second of being right. Power to the people, right now. I don't regret a second of being in the Black Panther Party. I really and truly don't. I really because we started out with a few Panthers in Oakland, then it spread to LA, San Diego, all across the United States. We had, I think it was, I forgot the name of this place. In Algeria, there was one, when we had international and everybody all these third world countries supported and was behind the Black Panther Party,
Okay,
So yeah,
okay.
that was really, really good.
Yeah. So is there anything else you would like to have the world know about the Black Panther Party? Anything you want to share with us? Any artifacts? Anything? You have the floor.
Uh hold on 1 minute. I got some artifact. Let me grab something right quick. I don't know if y'all can see. Hold on, excuse me, y'all. Let me see if I can. Okay, I'm back. One thing I would like the world to know that when you hear something about somebody, the best thing you could do is research. Like in the Black Panther Party, we had this saying, no research, no right to speak. Don't talk about stuff you don't know. Don't believe the propaganda that we were, killers and anti-white and whatever. We were anti-oppressive. And what people fail to realize that if the climate in America did not exist for the Black Panther Party to be born, we would have never been. There never would have been a Black Panther Party. It was conditions in America that we felt the need to unite, organize, and start the Black Panther Party. So that's what people need to question themselves. Why did this young group of people go out and even, participate in there? Because we were not getting paid. And it was certainly many of my comrades that were getting killed for nothing. I remember it was three of our friends went to get us some food one night. They never returned. Why? When we went to see what was taking them so long, they had been shot dead by the police. Was anything done? No. We have had, like my husband spent 6 years in Soledad behind that shootout when the police attacked them. The police came to their building. They didn't go to the police department. The police came to them. Did 6 years, and he had a lobotomy in prison, meaning they operated on his brain to make him nonviolent. I mean, it was so much stuff that people went through. The wife of Geronimo Pratt, Sandra Pratt, she was about 8 months pregnant, shot in both her breasts, in her head, the baby cut out and tied around her neck, and she dumped in a sleeping bag in out in Compton, California. Now you imagine being that young and having to deal with stuff like that. I mean, it was really, really hard for us to even, deal with that, to sleep with that. But we were so busy, we just kept doing it, kept doing it. And you would think when people see something like that, they run away from it. We were more determined than ever because we know our history here in America. We were the only people on the face of earth that didn't have a clue who we were, who our relatives, what language, our culture, our religion. We didn't have a clue about anything. We were the only people on the earth. And this was done to us, and somebody needed to fix it.
It's understandable. It's
Yeah.
understandable.
Okay, I have a few things. I don't know if y'all can see this because this is in a book. Let me see. Let me just find something. Oh, I know what I can show y'all. Ugh.
Also, everyone, you can, if you have any questions, you can Google, and there are articles about Miss Shakir online. You can see that some of the things that she has done and contributed to her community. So you can definitely Google Talibah Shakir and you will find information about her if you're interested. And if you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email and I can ask for you.
Yes. Can you see this?
A little bit, pull it up some. Like higher. There we go. Okay.
This was a child's book for the Black Panther Party to understand about the Black Panther Party. And it was the story of the Black Panther Party, all power to the people. It was 75 cents. So you know it's an old book. Let me see if I can get today I don't even see the date on here. Probably something we hand did. Black Panthers patrolling the police. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
And this is what we did. We patrolled the police. When the police stopped a black person or anybody, we right there with guns, patrolling the police, making sure that nobody die, anything like that. And when the police said anything, they could hear because they was cocking their shotguns, standing armed to the teeth, and was not backing down. So yes, we was a force to reckon with because we were tired of being oppressed and what have you. This is a drawing of the leader, Huey Newton, and Chairman Bobby Seale founded the Black Panther Party in Oakland. And he was called the Minister of Defense. People in the Black Panther Party were Malcolmites. We knew about Malcolm. We studied Malcolm and even got the privilege of bodyguarding his wife, Betty Shabazz. So yes, we knew Malcolm. We was up there. Let me see who else. And we registered people to vote. This is in Lowndes County, Alabama. Panthers came down to South. They helped people with the registration to vote. You around the same period of time that the 3 civil rights boys were killed by the Klan. And this was a part of our 10-point program right here, what we want, what we believe. And when they were drafting black people to go to Vietnam for the fight, a lot of them didn't want to go because we told them nobody, as Muhammad Ali said, a Vietnamese, nobody ever called him a nigger. So why on earth would he be going there, you know?
Yep.
To fight people, to fight oppression when you don't even have rights in your own country. And this is what we felt the Statue of Liberty should have looked like.
Pull it up some.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. And I actually heard that France actually did send a Statue of Liberty that was a black woman, and the U.S. was like, no.
They didn't like it. It was too ethnic.
No. This was Eldridge Cleaver. He was in the Black Panther Party. I think he was Minister of Information. Eldridge Cleaver.
Okay.
This is this is an article by Huey Newton, Why the Black Panther Party Do Not Hate White People. You know, we had people like Jane Fonda supporting us. We had a lot of Hollywood movie stars supporting us. Let's see what else. Wait, hold on. This is at the top, that's Kathleen Cleaver. She was married to Eldridge Cleaver, and the bottom is David Hilliard. If you want to
pull it up so we can see the bottom.
Okay. David Hilliard, if you want to get a good book about the Black Panther Party that's most accurate, it's called The Other Side of Glory by David Hilliard.
Okay.
He was from our Northern California office. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
This is a picture of little Bobby Hutton. He was the youngest and the first Black Panther to get killed by the police. Yeah, little Bobby Hutton. This is Bobby Seale, who helped founded the Black Panther Party. With
Pull it up a little bit and back. There we go.
Yeah, with Huey Newton. And they had a movie out, I think it was called Chicago 7 or something like this, and this is a picture of him from that trial. And this is basically is a cartoon drawing of really how we was dressing. Yeah, and getting down. Yeah.
Okay. And getting down.
And getting down, yeah.
And you said this is a children's book?
Yeah, this is a children book.
Okay.
And this is ooh, this is old. This is a collector's item. Ramparts magazine, where Eldridge Cleaver was one of the editors of the writers for it, and this is Bobby Seale on the front of his trial that he had in Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's on TV, Chicago 7 or 8 or whatever. It's on TV. It should have been Chicago 8, but they were saying Chicago 7. But this is a good piece for y'all to look at. Geronimo Pratt was one of the Panthers at that time that had served the longest time in prison for something he didn't do. Can you see it?
Yes.
27 years. 27 years. And then Mumia Abu Jamal, he's another one of our comrades that's can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
That's been incarcerated for a long time, probably like 40 years. And Mumia, I don't know, a lot of y'all may not know about the MOVE organization. It was a Black organization in Philadelphia when the mayor, Wilson Good, I think that was his name, a Black man, had a helicopter to fly over these houses where these people stayed. They was part of this organization called MOVE, and mostly all of their last name, they went by the last name of Africa, and John Africa was their leader. They dropped a bomb on these people, and they killed them. They burnt babies, children, women, men in America, in Philadelphia, post-slavery times. And so this is some of the stuff we got to deal with. When you ask us, are there any effects of the Black Panther Party? Yes, it's effect not only from being a Panther, it's from what was done to us continuously in America, and the victims are the one that become incarcerated and what have you. And they was after Mumia for doing this story and other stuff, and then they trumped up charges about him shooting some police. So he been in prison for like forever and a day. Hold on, let me see if I have anything else for y'all. We did fundraisers to get Geronimo Pratt out of jail at this park in LA, what we call Lamert Park. That's our cultural district over there. So this is one of our flyers. Sister C, that's Sister Charlotte. Her and her husband live in Tanzania, Africa. Her husband's name is Pete O'Neill. He's in Africa because he can never come back to America because of his political ideology. So let me see if I have anything else to show you. Wait, sorry, y'all. Hold on. This was the case of Geronimo Pratt, as Amnesty International also supported us, and this is how we got the information on what Geronimo was going through worldwide.
So you all put that together?
No, that was Amnesty International, another organization.
Okay.
This was when they found Geronimo Pratt. They had another trial, and some evidence came to let them know that he was charged with murdering a white lady on a tennis court in Santa Monica. And so new evidence came to light after 27 years. Even if he had did it, he didn't serve more than enough time. But 27 years later, they finally freed him. And, he got freed and came to LA, So this is the paper when he was freed, how we celebrated. Oh. And we would write about our Panther comrades that was in prison. This was a picture of Romaine Fitzgerald. He was incarcerated at 19 years of age. He's over 70 now. Can't get out. That's what you call a political prisoner. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a lot of things that happen to our friends and to us in the Black Panther Party that affects us mentally, socially, and stuff like that. It's a lot of Panthers, although people, you know, was really behind us. A lot of them gave up their going to college to help people because the Black Panther Party was not riffraff. A lot of us were college students and they can't get jobs, you know, and a lot of us are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm currently being seen by a therapist because of mine now. Yeah, and living in Georgia. That's enough to stress somebody if you ain't never been in a movement. Ooh. And okay, this is a picture. Is this okay? You can see it?
Pull it up some. Mm-hmm.
Geronimo Pratt and his famous lawyer. Y'all be hearing in the movies that talking about call Johnny Cochran. Famous. This is Johnny Cochran. This is Johnny Cochran, one of our LA people. Yeah, and he was the lawyer for the Black Panther Party. So that's Johnny Cochran. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, so many people came out, you know, to help us and to support us. Oh, I have something very important to show you, which I know some of you older people in Georgia could respect. This is Imam Jamal Alameen right here. Can you see that?
Pull it up some, please. There we go.
Right here. Imam Jamil, also known as H. Rap Brown. You can look him up on the H. Rap Brown or Imam Jamil Abdullah Alameen. You can look him up. This brother was accused of shooting a police officer in the West End. His masjid was in the West End. It's right off of Abernathy. It's a little, the mosque there, a little shopping center in a park right there. A lot of people know the park. But the deputy said before he, when he shot the person, he did shoot the person. That's what he had said. And he said the person had light gold light eyes, which Rap Brown's eyes is dark as mine and yours. So they found Rap Brown hiding in Waynes County, Alabama, and he didn't have a mark on him. But that makes no difference because this was like in the late 90s and he's been incarcerated ever since. And now he has some type of terminal illness and they should let him out. But no, they have not let him out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can find a lot of stuff on the internet about Rap Brown, also known as Imam Jamil, from the West End down here in Georgia.
Okay.
This is one of our, you know, like we fought. This is Leonard Peltier. Can you see that?
A little bit. Can you put it closer? There we go.
Here, Leonard Peltier, indigenous person, Native American. He's on the reservation. He hears a whole lot of shooting. He runs down to see what's happening. FBI is shooting up the reservation and shooting at people, you know? So Leonard, he goes off running. He hears somebody. It was a distraction. So when all the shooting was over, he goes off and he runs away doing something, trying to help the rest of the people. And he's been in prison for a long, long while, charged with murdering the FBI. But there's no evidence to link him to that. No fingerprints. The only eyewitness was a mentally disturbed Native American woman, and he's been in jail all this long while because of that. This is another what we call political prison. You're not really in jail because of a crime. You're in jail because your political ideology, and how dare you stand up against the U.S. government? You know, how dare you speak out against the U.S. government? So this is one of our political prisons as well.
Man.
Yeah. So it was a lot that we went through. You know, really and truly, when I think back, I wouldn't change anything for the world, but it's something that nobody at our age should have went through because we were young, like 16 to early 20s. You know, we shouldn't have had to go through that. We shouldn't have to been treated that way. You know, we shouldn't have to walk up our house and telling our parents buy whatever because we might be killed. Nobody should have to go that in a country that boasts freedom, justice, and equality for all. It shouldn't have happened. This never should have happened, you know?
You're right. You're right. So, Ms. Shakir, I thank you so much for even agreeing to participate in this interview. I genuinely appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you have a good night.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.